Are you looking for ways to grow your sphere of influence? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Rosemary Lewis, your real estate bestie, and today I'm going to give you some tips to grow your real estate business by growing your sphere of influence. But before I get into it, go ahead and do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, and then that way every time I post a video, you will know all about it. And speaking of subscribing to the channel, let me just tell you something. Did you know that Real Estate Bestie, we actually send out a devotional every single Sunday morning? Now, why do we send out a devotional? Like, are we talking about religion or are we talking about business? But hear me out. I cannot come up on YouTube every single week giving you information about how to grow your business without acknowledging that, you know what, my business is what it is, my life is what it is because of what God has been doing in my life. And if you are in this business, you know that sometimes it's hard. So we have specific devotionals that are tailored to the real estate professional just to give you some encouragement so that you can be encouraged in your faith as you head out every single week and you work on your business. So head on over to rosemarylewis.com/Devo so that you can be added to our list and get our devotionals every single week. Now, let's talk about growing your sphere. Okay, bestie, today's question is, what are tips to build your SOI, your sphere of influence, to build a real estate business? And let me tell you, this is a very, very good question. And it's one that can feel overwhelming when you're trying to figure out how to do it. And we are just going to simplify it for you, because when your sphere starts feeding you, and by feeding you, I mean referring you out, and they recognize you as the go-to real estate bestie, literally the game in your business will change. But first, let's define what a sphere of influence is, right? Because sometimes I think that we think that that means you have to cast this really big net. You have to be like this super influencer in order to have a sphere of influence. And honestly, that's just not true, okay? Your sphere of influence is anyone you are honestly in proximity to. Who are you in relationship with? And I want you to actually write that down. So starting today, think about, like, who did you talk to today? Who did you message on Instagram? Who are you following? Who's following you? Who's commenting on your posts? Who do you have appointments with? And just start jotting down who all of these people are in your sphere. So that could be your dentist, that could be your neighbor, that could be your girlfriend. Heck, that could even be your own spouse, okay? Because sometimes we forget to develop those relationships that are closest to us so that eventually we can get business from it. So that's the start. I want you to start really thinking through, like, who am I in proximity to? Who do I engage with, right? If you are getting donuts for your kids at this particular donut shop, you're going to get your nails done, right? You're getting your nails done by the same person every single week. Does she know that you're in real estate, and are you developing a relationship? And that's the next part. How do you grow your sphere of influence? Sometimes we focus too hard on growing it wide instead of growing it deep. So when you think of your sphere of influence, I want to make a recommendation, okay? We always want to be continually adding people to our database, right? So meeting new people so that you can add them, so that you can develop a relationship. But also, when I really consider what it looks like to grow my sphere, it is, how can I go deeper with the relationships that I already have? Because let's just be honest, in this world that we live in, a lot of what we do is surface, right? You just kind of sort of have these Facebook friends, or you have real friends that have been demoted, right? From actual human real life interaction to just what you see each other do on social media or what you're seeing each other do in passing, when the real creme de la creme is, how can you go beyond these surface level interactions to honestly get to know people? And what happens is, when you get to know people, when you have events, or when you call someone up and actually talk on the phone and see how they're doing, or you invite them for a walk, It goes from just being somebody that they know who is in real estate to a friend that they can build trust with. And because of the trust that you're building, guess what? It is growing your network. It is growing and helping you to become the go-to real estate bestie. Hey besties, I'm going to interrupt this video because if you are watching my channel, here's what I know about you. You are committed to growing and scaling your real estate business, and I'm here to help you do just that. When I was an elementary school teacher and transitioned over to real estate, I had one big goal, and that was to finally hit 6 figures. Now, at the time, it felt lofty and I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I'm here to tell you that with the right habits and determination, not only can you hit 6 figures, but baby, you can make multiple 6 figures every single year. I have a brand new free ebook to show you the exact habits that I apply in my business and my life every single day. So head on over to rosemarylewis.com/6, SIX, so that you can learn the habits that will get you to 6 figures and beyond in your real estate business. Now, back to the video. So definitely get outside of your shell and meet new people, but don't do that at the expense of going deeper with the people that you already know. So let's start thinking about that. Like, what does that look like? And I'm going to tell you something that I just recently started doing. I recently started looking at my schedule and I was saying to myself, because life gets busy, business gets busy, and before you know it, you are not really connecting with the people that you want to connect with. Like, y'all know how these adult relationships go. You have a girlfriend or you have a neighbor or whoever. Every time y'all see each other, you say, we're going to get together. And you've been saying that since the kids were in kindergarten and now they about to graduate high school. So I actually had a hard look at my schedule and I was like, okay, where can I, not necessarily add an activity, but where can I invite people into this activity? And as a result of truly trying to connect, what is it going to do? It's going to deepen my sphere of influence. And for me, that's looked like going on walks. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but just go with me here. Because what you will understand that every single opportunity that you are connecting with another person as a real estate professional, what you're doing is you're actually prospecting, right? You're actually priming them. And I'm not just inviting somebody to go for a walk for the purpose of getting business. It truly is showing up and being a friend. But when we're going for these walks and we're having talks and we're talking about life and we're talking about business and we're talking about, the area, and we are connecting and going deeper, guess what? I am growing my business because we are growing these relationships. So I took an activity that I do anyway, right? I was going for a long walk on the weekend, and now it is literally intentional on my time block to invite somebody that I normally wouldn't have had an opportunity to hang out with to go on that walk with me. Now, what else can you do? Think about your neighborhood. I was just talking to one of the realtors that I coach, and she was saying that she wanted to, start having a presence in her neighborhood and start farming her neighborhood. So we talked about all of the traditional things that you can do to farm your neighborhood, sending postcards, doing open houses, all of that. But then we talked about how can you take these relationships deeper with your neighbors, right? So how can we turn these farm activities into actually activities that are going to grow your sphere? And we came up with things like, hey, can you just post in the neighborhood Facebook group play date? Like, invite anyone who has a child from this age to this age, like, let's all go to the park at this specific time so that our kids can hang out, and you will inevitably get to know the parents, right? Now, when you do stuff like this is where you got to kind of step outside of your shell. Don't just be on your phone scrolling social media. Like, be present in the moment. Who can you walk up to? Who can you strike a conversation with? Can you exchange information and get to know people? And the more that you start to do things like that and show yourself resourceful, you show yourself as a community builder, then guess what? Those neighbors will become part of your sphere, right? You won't just be the person passing by in the car. You will actually be that person that they can depend on. And then while we're talking about neighbors, there are opportunities. Again, we just talked about the fact that, you and your friends, we're going to get together, we're going to get together, we're going to get together. Are you willing to actually stop your life so that you can actually connect and grow and hang out with people? So can you invite your girls over for a girls' night? Can you book a double date, right? Can you stop by your friend who has a business completely separate from your own and go out and, don't even ask for anything in return. Go out, video their business, post it on your social media, tell everybody about it. And as you are helping them grow their business, then guess what? There is a law of reciprocity, right? So even if it doesn't come back directly from them, trust me, it will come back to you. So it's really about being intentional about how deep you can go with relationships and not only going wide, okay? So we want to go away from just being kind of surface people to really being people who are creating and building relationship, because every closing, like literally, every closing that you see, it has started with two things: conversation, you got to open up your mouth, and it has been built off of some form of relationship. And the more relationships that you have, I'm going to tell you, the more money you are going to make in your real estate business.